So this girl, her name is Natalia. She bought me this Bible that's called Every Man's Bible, where basically it's a Bible, regular Bible,
Right.
but it has explanations at the bottom of what the most important verses in the book mean. So I'm like, yo, this is cool. So I buy it. Yeah, it's incredible. And I buy it and I start to understand more of the verses. And the first book that I read in the Bible was Job.
This is the CLIMACO podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the CLIMACO podcast. My guest today is a dear friend of mine who I've known for a very long time, who I've been wanting to get on the podcast for so long. He is a mindset speaker, coach, entrepreneur. He has spoken in I don't know how many countries worldwide. You gotta go check him out on IG. Kevin Neno Torres, my brother.
Man,
welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I know it's something we've tried to do over the last couple of months, man, but I'm glad we finally got it aligned, man. And I love to see this, bro. The setup, everything that you got here, man, it's absolutely amazing. Congratulations, dog. You've been crushing it, and it's an honor to be here, honestly, with you, man. After all these years of knowing you and speaking on the same stages as you, bro. We've spoken on many stages together, and now we're here doing podcasts together, making an impact. I love it, man. Thank you so much for having me, bro.
Nah, bro, thank you. I actually want to thank you also because you were one of the first people who I met who were doing podcasts.
Wow, look at that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
You were one of the first people that I knew doing podcasts. And I remember Jay Monopoly, shout out to Jay Monopoly, telling me that you had your podcast on the top 100 list.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of you.
Thank you, man.
And I'm like, man, that's so cool. And that really lit a fire under me to do the same. So I want to thank you for being the light that showed me what's possible.
I appreciate that. Yeah, man. It started for me back in 2020 and it blew up during COVID time. And, you know, it's obviously because there was so many people searching for that information during that time. And because of my audience being all over the world, it blew up and people loved it. And people were super relatable with me, young kid coming from the hood and sharing his story and the ideas that I was sharing. It was absolutely amazing. So I give all the glory, all the grace, and all the praise to God because God put me in that position and I'm grateful for it for sure.
Amen. You had one hell of a 2023 and 2024. I saw you in I don't know how many countries. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, we started doing a lot of tours all over the world. We realized that the message had to be heard all over. You know, we were kind of stuck in this little bubble here in the United States. And we started Euro-stepping is what they like to call it, Euro-stepping all around all over Europe. And we visited 20 countries, bro, in a matter of a year.
That's
and we
incredible.
just hit all over Europe, you know, from Spain to the UK to Switzerland, Germany, you name it. We've probably done it. Poland, the most randomest places we've been to. And we just went around just sharing the stories and sharing the wisdom about leadership and mindset and how people can grow and get into digital entrepreneurship. Because out there in Europe, there's not as much opportunities as there is here in the United States. I don't know what it is. It's just a lot of people are not open to the opportunity out there as much as there is here.
Yeah.
And
we're
when
hustlers out here, man.
The hustle is crazy out here. and the thing is also over there is when people find something, they stick to it. And they don't really like to explore their options. Here, people are jumping from one thing, and if this doesn't work, it's the next thing, and then it's the next thing, and it's the next thing. Over there, they find one thing, and they stick with it long term. They want
security, probably.
They want security, exactly. So, you know, but it was an incredible experience, bro. You know, traveling the world, being a kid that grew up in Washington Heights, New York City, being from the hood. And now I've traveled to over 26 different countries. I've spoken on stages in front of, 7, 8, 10,000 plus people in English.
That's incredible.
And in Spanish too. I've spoken on stages in Spanish as well. So, you know, it's been a very humbling experience for me, bro, to be able to travel to all these countries, see the world. They say that once you travel the world, your mind never goes back to what it once knew. Because
no way.
You know, your mind is like a t-shirt. Once you expand it, it can never go back. You know, so I've been able. It's been beautiful, bro, to travel and experience and to learn different cultures as well and languages, and the people are beautiful, bro. It's been great, man.
What was your favorite pit stop?
It's hard to say, but I love Spain and Portugal. I would put Spain, Portugal, and Italy in my top 3 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, those 3 is the food, the culture, the vibe,
Yes.
the people, everything about it, the way that they approach people, the way that they make you feel at home. You know, plus I speak Spanish, so
Right.
you know, in Spain you almost feel at home, but with the
Right.
Europe vibe. Portugal, even though they speak Portuguese, it almost sounds like Spanish.
You can get by.
Yeah, and then Italy is just a beautiful place to go to, man. It's just the architecture, the culture, the everything that comes with it was absolutely amazing. So I would say those are like my top 3.
What was the feedback that you were getting as you were there from the people?
Believe it or not, bro, a lot of, you know, here in the United States, we have a lot of these big public speakers. Like, you know, we have Patrick Bet-David, we have the Les Browns, we have all these people.
Right.
They were calling me the Les Brown, the Jim Rohn of
Really?
Europe for
That's
them.
awesome.
Because for them, they were like, yo, we don't.
What an honor.
Yeah, it was an honor for me. They were like, yo, you're our Bob Proctor. You know, you are our Jim Rohn.
Wow.
You know, we never got a chance to hear those people speak or get to meet these people in person. So for me, they were looking at me as this big, you know, personal development educator,
Right.
but that was young like them. That
They're seeing those guys through you,
exactly. They're like, yo, we see you as that person. One of the biggest,
which you are, by the way.
yeah, and I believe it as well. Thank you. One of the biggest compliments I got, somebody told me they were like, yo, I'm seeing Kobe Bryant when they first got into the Lakers, and I can't wait to see what you're gonna be now, 20 years from now. But
Number 8.
I'm like, I see you 20 years from now being that legend, being that person that impacted hundreds and millions of people, but in the personal development side. Because everybody knows that Kobe Bryant was like one of my biggest role models in life growing up and stuff. So somebody they were like, yo, I see you as that young Kobe right now. And she was like, yo, I'm glad that I get to see you now. Before the world catches on, before everybody actually knows who Neno is,
Wow.
I'm actually glad that I get a chance to see this because, you know, not everybody gets to see somebody at the beginning. Most people get to see people once they've made it
Right.
and at the end and stuff. So the feedback was absolutely amazing, bro, all around the world. I mean, people know my name in places that I didn't even know was possible. I'm being stopped at airports and cafes, hotel lobbies, like, yo, you're Neno, that's wild. And I'm like, still to this day, it's surreal to me that people
incredible.
recognize my name and my podcast, and people come up to me, tell me I changed their life, or I stopped them from committing suicide, or I was there through one of the toughest times in their lives. So it's been amazing, man, for real.
Man, that's so impactful. That's crazy. To be compared to your idol, that must have been so awesome.
It was one of the best. I still remember it all the time, and now I kind of have like a standard that I have to meet, an expectation.
Mamba.
Because people have that expectation of me, and now I want to go and meet that expectation and, you know, be able to over deliver on it as well. So I love it as well. I think about it all the time, believe it or not. Yeah.
How old are you now?
30.
You just turned 30.
Just turned 30, man.
Man.
I feel like I'm now getting started though, bro. I don't know.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
It's like I feel like the last couple of years were like foundational years, kind of like getting my feet wet, figuring
Right.
things out. But now that I'm 30, now that I have more awareness, now that I have God in my life and all these other things established, it feels like now is that I'm gonna go and really make the biggest impacts in my life now.
What would you say is the best advice that you can give to a 25-year-old, to a 23-year-old, to a 26-year-old? Because I think you lived your 20s very admirably, very honorably. I can't even say the word today. But it was very honorable to see how you lived your 20s. You're someone very mature. You're someone very grounded, someone very disciplined. What would you say to someone that is looking to be more like you?
My best advice is, in life is not about what you get. In life is about what you become. I feel like a lot of the times entrepreneurs and people getting started in their journey, they're focused on what I can get. The money, the cars, the clothes, the jewelry, the houses. Everybody's
lifestyle,
focused
right.
on the lifestyle because that's what Instagram shows and social media. So, and I was that person. I was always like, yo, what can I get? What can I get? But then I started to realize that it was all about the person I had to become. The person I become is what makes me deserving of the things that I want. So a lot of the times people, when they start off, they have the focus on the wrong things. you got to focus on you. You know, one of my favorite quotes is focus on you until the focus is on you.
Wow.
And that has always stuck with me. And that's what I did. I tell.
That's great.
Yeah, bro. I would tell early entrepreneurs, people getting started, like, yo, if I could go back, I would make the main focus myself, become the better version of me, learn the skills, understand everything that's going on with life, and, you know, grow that closer relationship with God a lot earlier in your life, and really focus on becoming that better version of you. And then naturally, everything else that you want in life will just start to come on its own. But you got to be deserving of it. But the only way that makes you deserving is the person you become.
Why do you think so many men are lost?
They don't have God in their life, bro. They don't have God in their life. To be real, I was lost for a little bit myself. And until I didn't find God, I was just lost, bro. It was just, I was living based off of society's desires for me, which was, you know, I grew up in the hood, Washington Heights, and I grew up where, yo, the dream is get money, get the girls, be in the clubs, do all of that. So then I grew up, I get the money, I started getting the girls, I started being in the clubs, I started spending the money. And then what I started to realize as I was living that life, I'm like, yo, I'm actually emptier now. I'm like, this is not, like, when you actually get a chance to peek behind the curtain, you actually realize that that's not the life that you really want. There's no purpose in there. There's no fulfillment in it. And it's cool to live it, to experience, to know. And it's not that it's a bad thing. I think those things are cool still, but until I didn't find, you know, the right way to live life with God principles in my life and leading with him and, you know, making sure that he comes first and that I'm doing things the right way, that was when my life completely changed. And that's when I started to feel fulfilled, because now I was living a life with purpose. I was living a life of principles. I was living a life that, you know, if I continue to do what I'm supposed to do, I'm gonna live a very fruitful life. Yeah. And it made me feel very good about that. So I feel like a lot of men today in life need to find God so that they can get rid of all those bad society desires that people get placed on themselves, and the limitations and all these different experiences, all the energy transfers that they're doing out there. All that
expectation.
All those expectations. And then once you do that, bro, everything else just comes naturally, because God will give you the strength, the vision, everything that you need, God will give it to you, but you got to look for him first.
How'd you find him?
Believe it or not, bro, it was when I got my heart broken.
That'll do it to you.
I went through my first heartbreak, bro, and, you know, there's this quote that says, you don't
Probably
know,
the best thing that ever happened to you, right?
Best thing that ever happened to me. They say that you don't know that God is all you need until God is all you have.
Man, you're full of great quotes today.
Yeah, bro. I mean,
man,
I do these calls.
I felt that one.
Yeah. So I went through my first heartbreak 2023. And it's funny that you said, yo, you see me traveling the world. I traveled the world. I did 16, 17 countries with a broken heart. I actually have a journal entry. I'm about to go on tour with a broken heart. The biggest tour of my life with a broken heart. I have a journal entry in my journal. I was looking at it actually last night. And during that time, bro.
You got to share that, bro.
Yeah, I know.
You got to share that journal.
That journal entry.
It may be private, but you got to share that, bro.
I've shared a couple pages, not all of it. But I remember, bro, it was just such a tough time, because I didn't expect for that heartbreak to happen. So when it did happen, and then I was home alone, and it was just me and my dog. Shout out Hazel. I found myself lost during that time. I couldn't get out of bed, and I remember asking for advice, and somebody told me, like, yo, you got to start seeking God during this time. You know, you're not going to be able to fight this battle alone. There's certain battles in life, you can't go through them alone. No, you're going to need that guidance, that 100%. Help. And a friend of mine bought me a Bible. It's called Every Man's Bible. Because the thing about me was I didn't like to read it, the word, because I didn't understand a lot of it. So this girl, her name is Natalia, she bought me this Bible that's called Every Man's Bible, where basically it's a Bible, regular Bible,
right? But
it has explanations at the bottom of what the most important verses in the book mean. So I'm like, yo, this is cool. So I buy it. Yeah, it's incredible. And I buy it, and I start to understand more of the verses. And the first book that I read in the Bible was Job. The guy that gets everything taken from him. He loses his whole family, all his wealth and everything. And I was like, during that time, I was like, yo, it was just a perfect alignment. And then
what a great first story.
And then I remember reading Job, and there's this verse, it's Job 5:17. It says, blessed are those who are disciplined by the Lord. So don't despise the discipline of the Almighty. And I remember at that time I was being disciplined because of all the things that I had done in the past. And, you know, stuff catches up to you and stuff like that. And it was a lot of
price for it.
Yeah. And I was paying that price, bro, every day. I was paying the price every single day. But it was what I needed. And during that time, because I found him and I was able to build a relationship with him and I was able to understand more of, you know, what it is to live by his principles, it was absolutely amazing. And now I don't do anything without putting him first. And it's just been completely life-changing, bro, for real. But you have to go through a very hard time to find them sometimes. And I guess that was my tough time for me to be able to find them.
Do you think a situation like a heartbreak is required to find God? Do you think that someone can find God without being in the pit?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it's just going and looking for him, honestly, and taking the time to build that relationship with him. I'm sure anybody, even if you're in the best time of your life, I'm sure you can go and search for him. It's unfortunate that some people have to most people have to go through the toughest times of their lives to be able to realize, like, surrender and, you know, give him the guidance and everything like that. So it's unfortunate that it takes that, but sometimes for most, that's what it takes.
Man, I feel like if you're an entrepreneur and you don't have God in your life, you're going blind.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, anybody, but specifically an entrepreneur, right? Because there's so much faith required in being an entrepreneur. It's a roller coaster ride.
So much.
That if you don't have God in your life, you're lost and you're alone and you have no one to rely on.
So hard, bro.
It's incredible. Talk to me about your entrepreneurship journey and where you are today.
Well, I'm in my 7th year of entrepreneurship. I started back in 2017. I'm going on 8 in September. It'll be 8 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. And
it is not easy to be almost 10 years entrepreneur. Congratulations.
It's been amazing. And in the beginning, it was difficult because, you know, I was following society, which was go to school, get a degree,
9 to 5,
get a job. Fun fact, I've never worked a job. So my whole life I played baseball. That was like the dream originally. I'm going to become a professional baseball player. I'm going to buy mom and dad a house in the Dominican Republic, play my passion, and live the life of abundance.
I love your country.
Thank you.
I went for the first time in June. I went to Puerto Plata.
Puerto Plata's beautiful.
Man,
that's why I want to get a house for my mom, man.
I had so much fun.
I want to get a nice house for my mom there. And, you know, that was the dream for me. Like I told you, buy the house for mom and stuff and dad. And unfortunately, I had a season-ending injury, which caused me to now try to figure out what the next step in life was. So now I had graduated. I got my bachelor's.
Leg or arm?
Shoulder, yeah. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, Neno, what's next? I have no work experience, no resume. I've never worked a job. And at the time, my friend introduced me to digital entrepreneurship, which is basically learning how to make money online, trading, investing, e-commerce, social media, the whole nine, right? And it was hard for me to believe that this was going to be my career. So for me, when I started it, and it was like, you know what, let me do it in the meantime while I find a job.
Right.
That was kind of like the approach that I took. But when I came into the game and I'm like, yo, people making a lot of money in this space. Like, you know, this is the type of money that people are making in sports and and a lot of professional industry. So I'm like, yo, if I actually take this serious, I can still make the amount of money that I wanted to make in professional sports.
Right.
So
less
I was like,
effort too.
Yeah, and less effort too. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go all in. That's it. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, let me get really good at this. Let me learn how to, you know, become a successful digital entrepreneur. And then I've been rocking it since. And then through that, I found different passions, which were now speaking, podcasting became a thing. Because what I realized as I was on my journey, mindset was something that a lot of people lacked. I was like, man, everybody wants to make money, but everybody's lacking the mindset. And that's when I said, okay, let me start reading the books. Let me start, you know, going to the events, listening to the podcast, the audios, and studying these people. And I fell in love with the idea of growing my mindset. And what I realized is because in the book, there's a book that I read by Jim Rohn. He says, your income is a reflection of your personal development. At the time, my income was only $1,000 a month. So I'm like, that means my personal development is in alignment with that. So I was like, I got to grow.
Very mature of you to connect that and see that.
I connected it. I'm like, okay, I'm not there.
Right.
So let me grow my personal development so my income can follow. And that's what I did, bro. I started every day. So this was the thing. I started these things called morning routines. I'm a big morning routine guy because I come from sports. Athletes are huge routine people.
Routine guys, yes.
So for me, it was like, okay, I need to develop a routine. So what I would do is every day I would wake up 555. That was my thing. 555. It has a meaning behind it, which represents new beginnings, growth, so on and so forth. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wake up every day at 555. I lived in the hood, so I didn't like to do my routine at home because my mom was up, she was playing the news, making coffee, whatever. So I would walk to a park a couple blocks away, and for 3 hours I would work on myself on Neno. No distractions, zero phone, no Instagram, no nothing, Leo.
How old were you when you started doing this?
I was 25.
Okay.
25. I started entrepreneurship at 23. And bro, for 3 hours, it was something called Neno's time.
That's
6
incredible.
to 9. Sitting down, praying, visualizing. I would visualize myself speaking on stages, bro. The things that I live today, I visualize it. I would visualize myself making the money. I would write my goals down. I would read for 30 minutes every single day. I would work out while listening to audiobooks over and over and over again. And for those 3 hours, that was my time for Neno. And bro, I worked hard for years without even seeing a result too. That's the craziest part. A lot of people will do it for a couple months and not see anything and they'll stop. I did it for months at a time. And after a couple of years of doing that, then I had my big breakthrough and everything started to change for me. And ever since then, it's just been blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing. But it was all everything I saw in that park while I was sitting down, broke, no money, still living at my parents' house, I've all lived it today. And I'm just so grateful for it.
How can you teach someone to do that? Because we live in a world of instant gratification. Mm-hmm. It's swipe, 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 give it to me now, right? Amazon, 1 day delivery, same day delivery. Nobody can wait anymore. No one has patience.
No.
Right? Nobody can wait years to put in the hard work to see the
fruits later.
The fruit of the labor, exactly. How do you teach that mindset?
It's hard, bro. I think I come from, my perspectives was shifted very early in my entrepreneurship journey. They gave me, another quote for you was, you got to learn to work without getting paid so you could get paid without work in the future. That was a big one for me. So I had to teach myself how to work without getting paid. So that means waking up every day, doing the work, doing my morning routine, making the phone calls, posting on social media, doing the work all the time without expecting any payment. Just learning how to do that.
What a mindset.
And I did it. And I was like, you know what? Eventually,
it's going to pay off.
It's going to pay off.
For sure.
I was like, you know what? Until then, I'm just going to keep doing it. That was my mindset. Another thing that really shifted my perspective, I don't know if you understand the bamboo tree analogy.
No.
The bamboo tree analogy basically states that a bamboo tree, when it's planted, it spends 4 years underground. Because instead of it growing right away, what happens is it's growing underground for years. So for 4 years, imagine you plant a tree, you plant a seed, and you're watering it every day, you're giving it sunlight every day, you're talking to it every day, but it doesn't grow. You don't see no physical result above the ground. Everything is happening below the ground. And then on the 5th year, it grows into 60, 80, hundreds of feet big. But what it is, yeah, bro. But what it was doing for those 4 years was building the foundation for the growth that it was about to have. So for me, that's why I told you now, for me, that's what I feel like. I feel like I've been the bamboo tree the last 4 or 5 years. Wow. I was just, setting my foundation, building my roots, making sure that I was in the right place, right time, my physical, my mindset, my emotions, my finances, everything. I was building that foundation, and now I'm ready for that next level. But a lot of people don't have that mentality because it's like, I start today, I want to make money tomorrow. And that mindset holds people back more than they know. They got to be willing to put the work in without expecting anything in return right away. And in the future, you'll get it. But you have to make sure that you're in position first. And that's what I feel like the perspective has to be shifted, and somebody has to buy into that perspective as well.
Man, you're a good coach.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That was powerful. That bamboo analogy is really powerful.
Yeah, Google it. It'll blow your mind, bro. Google it after this. You're gonna be like, wow.
That's crazy.
And it'll help you shift people's perspective, because people lack perspective. That's what it is.
Man, you're gonna blow the fuck up.
Thank you, bro.
You're gonna skyrocket.
I've been working, bro, for last
your
4 or 5
energy
years.
is felt. You're on fire. You know what I mean? Like,
bro, this year, when I started the year, I told myself, I'm like, yo, this is my year. This is my year to become omnipresent. I want everybody to know who Neno is. Like, I feel like I've just been here and there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yo, I need the whole world to know who I am. I need the whole world to hear my voice. I need the whole world to hear this message, because I can't keep this message just to myself. I need everybody to hear it.
Tell me your vision.
I have a vision. You see, the thing is with me, I have a gift. God gave me a gift to be able to speak both languages. And my goal is to become one of those top motivational speakers in bilingual, English and in Spanish, and travel the world and help people find themselves. Because like you said, it's not just men, it's women as well that are lost.
Yeah.
A lot of people are lost in our world. A lot of people don't know what their purpose is. A lot of people don't know what it is that they want to do in life. I want to help people find themselves. I want to help individuals see themselves for better than who they are, because society has limited us and has given us this image of ourselves that we've accepted. And a lot of people are limiting themselves on what they can do, what they can be, and what they can have. When in reality in life, we can be, do, or have anything that we want in life.
We just don't believe it, right?
Yeah, but you got to believe it. And that's what I want to help people see, is that you got to believe it. And a lot of it goes into teaching the spiritual side of success, which is your thoughts, your self-image, believing in yourself, and all of those great things. And that's my goal in life, is to spread the word, go out there and just teach as many people as I can to, tap in with those inner powers that we all have, and help them grow closer to God, which is a purpose of ours as well. Bring more of his children to him, and less away from the enemy, because the enemy has a stronghold of a lot of people nowadays, unfortunately.
A lot. And it seems like the more you go closer to God,
the more it pulls
the
you.
more temptation comes towards you. Exactly. The more it wants to pull you. The more it wants to bring you back down.
I've seen it myself as I got closer to him. It's just like, sheesh, it's crazy how it happens. It's crazy how he plays games with your mind, and the way things happen. And I'm
test after test after test.
And you just sit there and you're just like, wow, bro. It's unreal.
Like, bring it on. Let's go.
No, for real. It happens, man. But they say that faith that hasn't been tested can't be trusted. So you got to get tested to see if you can be trusted for what you're asking for.
Bro, when this podcast is over, I'm going to do a digital product of all your quotes.
Let me tell you how I was able to do this, though. So one of I forgot who it was, but I was listening to this guy on YouTube, actually. I can't remember exactly who it was. It was one of my mentors. Must have been Jim Rohn. It had to be Jim Rohn. And what Jim Rohn taught me was write down a quote on a Post-it note, paste it to your laptop, and then read it all day. And every day do that. Every day take a favorite quote that you like, post it on your wherever you spend the most time, whether it's your desk, your laptop. So I would do it on my laptop. And what I would do is every chance I got, I would just look at it and read it. Look at it, read it. And I was rereading it, 40, 50, sometimes 100 times a day. And I would memorize it. So imagine doing that for a whole year.
Yes.
Imagine doing that for a whole year. So that's why, you say something and I know a quote for it. I have a quote for almost everything because I've memorized so many quotes over the years.
Where do you want to be by 40?
By 40, I want to be, obviously, always going to put God first. So I want to have the best relationship with God. I want to be married. I want to be married with kids, 8-figure earner, top motivational speaker in English and Spanish. I want to have my spot here in Sunny Isles at the Bentley Tower, which I'm really looking forward to it. My mom and dad obviously retired, healthy and happy, traveling the world. I'm at 26 countries. I have to be at least probably 70 countries by then, plus reaching 100. and just impacting, bro, just sharing the word, helping a lot of people. One thing I want to do is help the youth a lot, the next generation that's coming around, be able to speak in schools and colleges. That's one of the things that I really want to step into this year, speaking more to athletes as well, because I feel like I'll be able to relate really well
for sure
to athletes and speak to the youth, travel more, help a lot of more people, expand into different industries as well. I feel like because of what I do, what I do is sales, so I could do sales with anything, and grow my brand, coaching, life coaching, merchandise, retreats, all that good stuff. Like really be an established brand worldwide that everybody knows. A world-renowned speaker, coach that something like Tony. Think of Tony Robbins,
yes,
but in Neno's version of it. Kind of like, and that's,
we'll play this clip in 10 years.
Exactly. and look, we'll be like, yo, whatever you speak about, you bring about.
Exactly.
So that's the goal, and just live life of abundance, fulfillment, putting God in the center, and moving forward, bro. I know God is gonna place me with all the right people and situations and circumstances to make it happen. Because at the end of the day, we do it all for His glory. So that's what it's all about.
Let's go into the youth. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Where do you think you can best help them? And give me your top 3 things that you think that someone that's 19, 20 should be doing right now to work on themselves.
I feel like one of the areas I can help them in, first, I would say understanding the power of discipline. I think discipline is a lost art nowadays.
Facts.
Because of the phones. I remember growing up, I'm sure with you it's very similar, playing in the parks. We didn't have phones.
Playing Manhunt all over New York City.
Manhunt, we grew up playing all the sports, basketball, baseball, football. And we didn't have all these distractions that we have nowadays. Nowadays, everybody's always distracted. There's no discipline. There's no desire for anything. Right. So I think helping the youth understand the importance of discipline and working towards what it is that you want, I think is one of the areas that I would definitely help people in. Tapping into personal development is another thing. I wish somebody would have taught me personal development when I was in school.
How would you define personal development?
Hard to say, but I would call it's such a broad topic.
Yeah.
But it's like you say, when we were talking about just working to become a better version of yourself, 1% each and every single day. And the importance of reading books. They say that the secret of the ages are hidden in books because people don't read them.
Right.
People don't read books. I used to think growing up that books were for nerds and that, you're not supposed to read books. And I never read books in school. I think I could maybe read one book in my whole career of school, and it was a Goosebumps book. I remember
yes,
it.
I love Goosebumps books.
I used to love them. So, but then I grew up, and then I realized that, all the answers that I was looking for was in these books. All the power, all the knowledge, all the wisdom. Like a lot of what I know today is because of these books. But had I never taken the time to, actually dive into these books, I think is so important. And then I would say discipline, personal development, and then, bro, getting them closer to God a lot earlier. If that could have been at my foundation. And what's the thing is, my mom goes to church every Sunday, so she's big on it. She talks about it, but it's one thing to just know about him. It's another thing to actually have that relationship with him,
Yes. Do you think you need to go to church to know God?
No, I don't think so. But it helps.
Right.
It helps going because you get the wisdom, you get surrounded with the right people, and who you surround yourself with also plays a huge part. But someone can build a relationship with him without having to go to church. I believe that.
No, for sure. I agree. I think it's more about God's everywhere.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
You don't have to go to church to see him. You can see him right now if you want to. You know what I mean? Man, I just see you as a really powerful force. And I'm like really excited for your growth, really excited to see you just blow the fuck up.
Thank you, bro.
I think you're someone that you're so multifaceted, right? You're bilingual, you're Latin, you have charm. Like you're in the right place, bro.
I'm in Miami. This is the digital capital of the world, and people love to network here, That's and I'm glad that you see that, because they say that the world sees you as you see yourself. What you just said is how I see myself. You know, like I've been working on my self-image for years, Leo, like for years, seeing it, writing it down. Like I wish I brought my journal. I actually have it downstairs. I wish I would have brought it up, but I would read to you like the self-image that I create.
Go get it. No, I'm kidding.
I write congratulations letters to myself all the time.
Really?
Congratulations, Neno. You know, you already accomplished this. You're living here. You did this. This is happening for you. And I work on my self-image. I am confident. I am this. I am that. Like,
Bro, you got to package all this.
yeah, I know. That's the next step for me.
You have to. All these little nuggets that you do, they're so applicable to people.
So easy to do too.
Yes, and it builds discipline. Everything that you do has discipline behind it. Going to the park for 3 hours, praying, meditating, journaling, visualizing. Man, the level of discipline required to do what you do is really incredible.
Thank you, bro.
Like,
But it comes from baseball though.
does it?
It came from baseball. And you know what's funny? Somebody asked me this the other day. They were like, yo, how do you think you were able to develop such discipline and consistency over the years? The first thing I told them was because of my dad. My dad is a taxi driver. He's been a taxi driver for even before I was born. I think he's been a taxi driver now for close to 50 years of his life.
Wow.
But
New York City?
New York City, and then before that, DR. But I tell people, yo, my dad was going to work every day, Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, at least 29, 30 days out of the month. Like, so even though I used to just see it as something regular, you're young,
right?
Subconsciously, it was like, it was raining, he was there. It was snowing, it was there. A bad day, he got drunk the night before. He was always at work, no matter what. He was always there. He always showed up. I always had my money. My dad is very old school, so he would always leave me my money at the table. Every morning, I can guarantee my money was at the table. Even into my 20s, bro, he was still doing that, bro.
That's awesome.
You know, so subconsciously, discipline has always been installed in me. It's almost like it's a part of me. It's in my DNA. But another thing that has helped was the morning routine, bro. It's just the morning routine, but it comes from baseball, because in baseball, having a routine is so important. Getting to the field, the way you warm up, the way you put on your uniform, everything. So I've been naturally having this discipline installed in me since I was a kid.
Would you say that sports is fundamental for a youth growing up?
I think so, yes. And the reason for it is that sports teaches you a lot of the intangibles. Like, it teaches you discipline, it teaches you teamwork, it teaches you how to be coachable, which is so important nowadays,
important, bro.
Especially in business. It teaches you how to work in teams and how
It'll
to get
humble you.
It'll humble
when
you.
you lose.
And then exactly, and then it leads into that failure as well. And that was something that set me apart in entrepreneurship, bro, to be honest, because I played a game of failure, baseball. They say in baseball, you fail 7 out of 10 times and you're still considered successful.
Wow.
So, I come into this business, into entrepreneurship, and you know how it is. Failure after failure after failure. And then you succeed, and then failure, and then succeed. And then it's so much failure. But a lot of people in the beginning, they can't handle all that failure.
No,
they
it's
can't
too
handle
much.
is a lot.
Yeah.
And because we're so used to the natural way of doing things, when you come into entrepreneurship and you fail, and you got to have a lot of faith, and sometimes you don't even know how you're going to get the money or how this is going to work or how it's all going to come together, it messes with people's minds, and they don't have the fortitude and the resiliency to push through it.
Yeah.
I had that.
They quit.
Yeah, I had that. I know that I'll never quit. I'm like, whatever, bro. Like, let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. Whatever it is, we're going to keep going.
I feel like you saw as like there's no other option. Right? It's this or nothing. Right, exactly.
That was what it was. It was like, and then I had a strong why, which was my family. I couldn't give up. I'm like, yo, my dad never gave up. It wasn't like
I was just going to say that.
It wasn't like he woke up one day and was like, yo, I'm tired, I'm not going to go to work. Right. Bro, I saw him do it every day. And if they didn't give up on me, why would I ever give up on them? They're like my backbone. I talk to my parents every day, still to this day. So it's like, I had that strong why, and it was like, I got to do whatever it takes to make sure that I fulfill the promise that I made them, because I made them that promise. I told them, hey, this is what I'm going to do for us. I wasn't able to do it through baseball, but God gave me another position for me to be able to do it through this. And I'm so grateful that it happened the way that it did. And I'm this close from making it happen, bro.
Are you a only child?
No, it's me and my little brother.
How old is he?
He's 3 years younger than me, so he's 27.
Okay. Do you guys work together?
No, actually, yes and no. it's funny because he's a financial advisor up in Tampa.
Okay.
And I'm like the heavy entrepreneur taking all the
Yes.
risk, but he's the one that's going to help us manage our money
For sure.
in the future. So it actually worked out perfectly because, you know, my little brother was always the one that had money. Growing up, I was always the one, get it and spend it.
Got it. He saved.
My little brother was always the one, my dad will give us 10. You know, he'll always put 5 to the side and only spend 5.
Wow.
Me, my dad gave me 10, I'll spend all 10. So there was times growing up where I would ask my little brother for money, you know, because I knew he always had money because he was always good at saving. And it's funny now that today he's a financial advisor and he's helping people manage, you know, hundreds and millions of dollars, you know, for this big time company up in Tampa. And, you know, I talk about it all the time. Like, yo, eventually, like what we got to do is we got to start like our own. Torres Investments,
yes.
Torres Agency, where, you know,
your own hedge fund.
Exactly, our own hedge fund. And, you know, who better than to manage your money than your family, your brother, somebody you could trust? Because that's also an area where it's hard to find people that you can trust that are not going to try to, you know,
for sure,
do things behind the scenes. Take your shit, you know? So I'm like, yo, I'm grateful that you took that because now I'm going to be able to help you, but I'm also going to help him bring a lot of clients as well. So that's a vision that me and my little brother have that I know will obviously manifest and create over the next couple of years of our lives.
Real quick, bro, shout out to your parents.
Yeah, for sure.
They built 2 men who their foundation was discipline. Your little brother has been saving since young. Mm-hmm. You have the other side of the discipline with the mindsets and the leadership and you visualizing. It's very hard to build 2 men, especially in New York City, during this era that are as disciplined as you and your brother.
Me and my little brother talk about that all the time, bro, actually.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because a lot of our other friends didn't have that privilege.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of our friends, unfortunately, even my godbrother lost his life a couple years ago.
Wow.
You know, he was shot and killed in front of his house. A lot of our other friends, it's tough. It was actually his birthday the other day. And a lot of our other friends got lost in the streets, drugs, and it's extremely unfortunate. And me and my little brother, baseball saved us almost in a way because baseball kind of took us off the streets.
He played also.
He also played, but it was because I played. So he was always following big brother steps.
Yes.
So the other day he calls me.
What a great role model to have, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Your brother's lucky.
Yeah, he calls me and texts me the other day. It was one of the best things you could ever hear from your little brother. And he's just thanking me. He's like, yo, bro, thank you that, you know, you took the right path because, you know, he goes home sometimes and he has a reality check where, you know, all his friends are drug dealers. They're in the streets. They have no purpose. They have no nothing. And it was because he chose to follow his big brother. My big brother started playing baseball. I'm going to do it. He saw me wake up every day.
Did you cry? I'm about to cry right now, bro.
Yeah, bro. I almost cried. I told him over the phone. I'm like, yo, little bro, you know, my eyes are watering up. Yeah. You telling me this, bro, because that's the best advice. I mean, that's the best compliment that you could ever receive from a little brother. Like, yo, thank you for being a great role model, you know, because of you, you know. And then he started tapping into the morning routines too, bro. So he like, yo, I didn't understand it back then, bro. Because he was a little younger. So when I started it, he was still in like school.
Right.
So he used to be like, yo, what you waking up to go to the park for? You know, and he would see how obsessed I was. He was like, yo, you're going to go even though it's raining and all of this, because every day I would wake up and I would turn the light on because we slept in the same room. So he would always get so pissed. He's like, yo, you're always waking up early to go to the park, whatever. He used to get frustrated with me.
I bet.
And now he sees it now that he's older. He actually has a kid already. So he's a father already. And he's like, bro, if it wasn't for my morning routine, I wouldn't have been able to, you know, live where I live. You know, he manifested also as well, having a 6-figure job. Because I told him, write it down, bro. Visualize it every day. Go to the gym. Do this, do that. And still to this day, he does everything I tell him. And he manifested the job where he lives, everything, bro. Everything to the T, bro. And,
that's awesome, bro.
And it makes me so grateful that I was able to be just such a great role model to him and so many others. But most importantly to my little brother, because, you know, that's my family, that's my blood. And that was the first person I had to be a role model for, you know?
I have 2 boys. I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. And my dream,
Perfect. Three years.
exactly. And my dream is for them to be like you and your brother.
Me and my little brother never fought.
That's my dream.
Yeah, we always had a great relationship.
They're best
throughout.
friends right now. They love each other.
That's beautiful.
It was adorable the other day. My 2-year-old went in the pantry and grabbed a cookie for him and his brother. 2 years old. Grabbed that cookie and went and gave it to his brother.
Already thinking of him.
Exactly.
That's beautiful, bro.
Yeah, man. I was like, man, we're doing something right, Daniela. So I was telling my wife, we're doing something
How
right.
old are you now?
37.
37, okay.
I just turned 37 a week ago.
Oh, nice. Happy late birthday,
Thank you, man. Yeah, so my dream is for my boys to be just like that. You know, one setting the example for the other and one following the other. And then being two disciplined, well-raised men in this world, you know,
That's
to
so
help
beautiful.
evolve.
And believe it or not, bro, my little brother was also a huge accountability partner for me throughout the years as well. Because if he ever saw me steer like the wrong way, he would always check me.
That's awesome.
Always check me. Still to this day, if I spend a few days without calling him, yo, don't forget about your little brother. You know, he always texts me like, yo, don't forget. Because his name is Lico. Is Neno Lico, and we have like this thing I call him Libby. Like it's like what my mom calls him, and he always texts me like, "Yo, don't forget about Libby." You know, like I'm still your brother, because you know we get caught up in the work and the stuff. But he understands, but I love it because he's like the glue to the family. You know, I'm always the leader going out and getting it for us and making sure that I bring it back.
And he grounds you guys.
And he grounds us and he reminds us like, yo, we're a family. We got to spend time together. He makes it a priority. Like, yo, you guys got to come see Wiley, which is his son. And like, he makes that, like, family is so big for him. So, you know, my little brother, we couldn't do it without him. You know, he plays a huge role in our family.
What does Neno look for in a wife?
God-fearing, number one. I'm glad I learned that over the years now. God-fearing. I love an ambitious woman. I know some men like a woman that just wants to stay at home. I like an ambitious woman that's also getting it with me. You know, maybe after some years, yeah, but I love an ambitious woman that's out there getting it each and every single day. You know, working towards her dreams, her goals, and doing what's required for herself. Family-oriented is very important for me because I'm such a family-oriented person. Yeah. I think that's key as well. Working to be the best version of herself in all areas. That's taking care of herself physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, spiritually. I think that's something that's very important to me.
Put that out there. Put it out there. Let's go.
It's happening. It's all happening.
Do you have someone currently?
I'm dating someone currently. But yeah, I look at, you know, it's one of those things that you kind of, I've written it down of what it looks like. And, you know, I know that not everybody's going to be perfect, obviously. And obviously people still have to improve in certain areas. And that's why sometimes partnerships work so great because, you know, that girl may come into your life and, you know, she may be good in areas where you need help in, but you may be good in areas where she needs help in. And that's where you kind of complement each other. So, you know, it's not like I'm looking for this perfect girl, but I have, you know, the non-negotiables that, and that's like God-fearing and all these other things that I just mentioned, which are very important to me. Obviously beautiful and charming and that I can bring around my friends. Right. You know, I've had relationships in the past that I can't even bring a girl around my friends because she don't know how to socialize with people. Like those are I hated that so much. But now I love someone that I can socialize with and travel with and pushes me and holds me accountable and, you know, is always growing and, you know, pushing towards, you know, becoming a God-driven with God in the center kind of relationship because everything else will take care of itself. Which is funny because I've had a fear of marriage my whole life. I've always said, I don't want to get married and this and that. But then as I got older, I realized like, yo, you know, that's one of the promises and commitments that you got to make to God. And
what do you think that fear was?
If I tell you the story, it's crazy.
Because I had that same fear.
So, I don't know. Do you know what your Akashic records are?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I had my Akashic records read. I didn't know what to believe in it too much, but I'm like, you know what? Let me try it. And as I'm getting the reading done, this lady tells me, she's like, I see that you have a fear. And I kind of get defensive. I'm like, fear of what? I don't fear anything. She's like, she starts telling me, I'm like, yo, I'm not fear of this, fairly enough. She's like, no, it's not any of that stuff. It's not an animal. It's not no bugs. She's like, I see a fear of marriage. And when she told me that, I'm like, yo, this woman knows what she's talking about because I've always had that fear. And what she ends up telling me was, I don't know if it's true or not, but she said in one of my past lives, on the day of my wedding, my fiance passed, and that fear has always carried throughout my lifetime. I don't know how
stuck to your soul.
Yeah, it stuck to my soul. I don't know how true it is.
I believe that.
I believe it to an extent. I think it's true because even growing up, I never wanted it. It was always like, and then the thing is, my parents never got married, but they've been together for almost 40 years.
Okay.
So it was almost like, do I really need to get married? And
Right.
it was almost like,
what's the point of it, right?
What's the point of it?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But now that I'm older, I'm more wiser, I'm more aware. All my friends are married and all that stuff. I've realized that it is something important and what it means. And I've actually done some research on it, and I've asked some of my, mentors and friends about it, and they gave me their perspectives on it as well. But it's something that over the years has now developed, and I look forward to the one day where I could get married, and I want to have a big wedding and live that life and see what it's like. But for a long time, bro, it was something that was not on my radar. It wasn't something that I was interested in at all, honestly, bro.
I've been married. It's gonna be 9 years in May.
Where did your fear come from? Because I know you said also as
Bro,
well that
my
you
fear
kind of
was being with one woman the rest of my life.
I know
that was my fear.
That's another thing too.
Like I wanted every single woman in the world.
I feel like you grow out of that phase eventually.
Yeah. You mature.
You mature,
right? You realize that dream of wanting every woman in the world is going to kill my soul. I don't have the energy to be with every single female on earth. And if I do, I am spreading my energy thin and there's nothing left for me. Mm-hmm. And that's not what life's about.
Nope.
Life is about you finding a partner that is going to be your opposite. And the point is for the two of you to grow together and become one. So it's very hard. Marriage is very, very hard. There is no perfect woman. There is no perfect man, right? So the goal is for you to find someone who you like enough to be able to work on yourself, have her work on herself, and you guys meet in the middle.
Me in the middle, yep.
That's really the point, right? And when you meet in the middle, that's when you have that beautiful chemistry and that beautiful love and that beautiful life. So my wife and I...
So you got married at my age?
I got married at 28.
Oh, 28, okay.
Yeah. I married at 28, almost 29. It took us about 6.5 to 7 years for us to get to a place
really
where we are finally coming to connect. That connection is finally coming to fruition.
What were the challenges in those 6 years? What would you say for someone like me? What were challenges that kind of like...
I wasn't faithful.
Okay.
For a very long time. I was cheating. I was doing stupid shit.
Because you kind of still wanted to live it up a little bit.
Because
you feel like you hadn't got it out of your
thought
system.
that life was about partying.
I feel you, dog.
And and success got to my head. And I thought I was a fucking man. And I had a little money. And I wanted to go blow it. And I wanted to go spend it. And I wanted to go get some pussy.
Yep.
That's just for being honest with you.
That's
right?
a reality. No, I feel
It's a reality. But I realized that what did I gain from that? What did that do for me? Where did that lead me? Absolutely nothing.
Nowhere.
Absolutely nowhere.
Empty.
It left me empty. It left me alone. It left me in a pit. It left me in a hole. It left me wanting just more women to fill the hole, which every time I did made the hole bigger and bigger and bigger.
Sheesh.
I was my own black hole. I called myself an energy vampire.
Wow.
Because I fed on women's energies. I needed that energy. It was a drug.
It is.
You know?
I know how it feels.
I needed that energy. I needed that touch. I needed that appreciation. I needed that lust. You know? When in reality, I had a woman at home willing to do all that for me, and I just couldn't see it. Today, man, I am so thankful she didn't leave me. I am so thankful that she's
a real one.
By a real one.
She's a real
that
one.
She stood by me.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to Daniela. That she saw the potential in me and stuck with me and waited for me to mature. Because men mature really fucking late. Women mature really fast. They say that most men hit their prime at 35.
I know. I actually saw that today on Instagram.
That was me at 35. Hitting my prime. Thinking I was the man. Wanting 1 billion women. Not seeing my wife for the gem that she was. Yesterday, I got home and I gave her a huge hug. I was in the studio all day yesterday. We worked like 12 hours yesterday.
Wow.
And I got home and she dropped the kids off, picked them up, went to a karate practice, made dinner. I got home, I gave her a huge hug. I said, thank you for holding it down today. Thank you for being this amazing woman, this amazing mother. I appreciate you so much for allowing me to have the time to go pursue my career and having the comfort level of knowing that my kids are safe, that my house is taken care of, and that everything is in order.
That's a different level of peace right there.
Oh
bro.
my goodness. It's completely different, bro. And our connection is just, we are so connected right now. We are so in love. We go on date nights every single week.
That's beautiful, bro.
It really is.
I'm so happy for you, man.
Thank you. And I told her yesterday, I'm sorry that it took me so long to get here. I'm sorry that it took so much pain and so much struggle for me to finally see you and realize who you are. You know? And that's marriage.
And that's what it is.
That's marriage. Yeah.
Man, that's good to know. That's good to know. And I think that's also one of the things that I feel like I haven't matured enough yet. I was actually telling my mentor the other day, and like 2 days ago, we had the conversation. And I'm like, I think I still need to mature more, bro, before I can start even thinking about getting married and stuff. Because I don't want to get into it and mess up. Or I mean, I'm sure the mess ups happen regardless.
Happen.
You know, but I feel like I still
You can't avoid. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen for sure.
Yeah, it's
right?
gonna happen.
Yeah. So
because you're human, bro. Make mistakes. You know. Do you know how many times we've gotten into a fight and like we just want to kill each other and like not see each other ever again? It happens. You know.
All the time.
And then you take a deep breath. You calm down. You know. You make up, and you realize that the grass is not always greener on the other side. You know. You got to water the grass right here for it to grow.
That's powerful. I'm actually glad we had this conversation because I needed to hear a lot of the stuff that you said.
I'm glad. Because I think men, high-valued men like you and I, are in demand.
We are.
Most men are not high value. Most men are lost. Most men don't know who they are. Most men can't make money. Most men can't provide. Most men can't lead. And when you can, women want you. Women see that. Women want that.
Absolutely.
And if you're not disciplined, if you're not strong enough, I was not disciplined. I am just starting to really get disciplined in my life. And when you're not, you allow the flashy thing to get you, you know?
Shiny object.
Shiny object. Every new shiny object you want. Every piece of ass that walks by you, you're a fucking dog chasing it. You know, there's no discipline. There's no value, no morals, no foundation, no structure. And I finally, at 36, 37, finally got to a place where I've built that foundation, that discipline, that structure. And I'm finally catapulting off of it. You know? Takes time.
It does.
Takes time. I was reading a book. I forgot what it was called, the book. But it said... your life starts at 40. Everything before 40 is an experiment.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I kind of feel like that. As
Do
I'm
you
approaching
feel it?
40, I do. As I'm approaching 40, I feel like, yeah, man, everything I've done until now has been an experiment. And now I'm sure of myself. I'm sure of who I am. I'm sure of my calling. I'm sure of my purpose. I'm sure of what I have to do. And like, now I can start doing it. Now I can go live it. I'm done questioning. I'm done wondering. I'm done not following God. I'm done trying to make things happen on my own. I'm done thinking that I know better. I'm done thinking that it's all on me, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's powerful.
Yeah. Because as a man, I got to provide. It's all on me. You know? Nah, bro. You got God. Lean on
Facts.
him. Surrender. Depend on him.
Amen, bro.
You know?
When did you start tapping in heavy with God? Tell me a little bit about that, because
Couple years ago.
It seems like it's
Yeah.
been more heavy recently.
It has been. A couple years ago. My mother,
Did you have to go through something like what I went through, similar, or?
it was this whole cheating thing.
Yeah,
And my wife that really brought me closer to God.
yeah.
I had to face the truth. The truth was, do I leave my wife and do I destroy everything I've built for pleasure? Or do I surrender to what God wants me to surrender and live my beautiful, peaceful life in peace? It was that crossroad,
Wow.
you know? Literally, like, I told her I'm cheating. I've done X, Y, and Z. The whole crying, the whole thing occurred, right? And it's like,
You confessed it.
Yes.
Sheesh.
I came clean.
How hard was that, bro?
Extremely hard,
It probably
bro.
took you weeks to even make the
Bro,
decision.
I was shaking. Like, you know what I mean? I was sweating. I was shaking. Like, and the option was, do I leave my house? Do I move out?
And you had kids at this time already,
2
right?
kids already. This was a year and a half ago.
Sheesh, bro, this is crazy.
Like, do I leave my house? Do I go somewhere else? Or do I keep my family? What I've built, right? What fulfills me. My family fulfills me, man. Like, there's no greater joy than getting home. I open the door and my kids scream, "Daddy," and they run to me. There's no greater feeling.
There's
you know?
nothing out there
Nothing.
that can compare
There's
to
nothing out
kissing
there.
your wife, hugging her,
Yeah,
kids are
exactly.
there, spending time with them.
100%.
I don't have no kids, but I could only imagine how amazing that feels.
It's incredible. There's nothing better. And like, just the thought of giving all of that up for pleasure.
For some ass.
Yeah, man. I finally got to a point where that no longer made sense. You know? It no longer made sense to trade pleasure for my life. And that was the realization. I was
That's
like, I'm
beautiful,
done.
dog.
I was like, God, I'm done.
I do this training. It's called Peace Over Pleasure. And it literally goes with that, with what you're saying. You chose peace over the pleasure.
100%.
The peace of having your family, your kids, everything in order over the pleasure of the drugs, the
Exactly.
drinking, the girls, the stuff, which is temporary. This
Right. It's forever.
is forever.
Yeah. So I used to make fun of people that were in Bible groups and Bible study groups. I thought it was the corniest, the nerdiest fucking thing you could do. Today, I'm part of a Bible group
Me too. Me too.
led by Terry, who's here today.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Nice. Shout out Terry, man.
Shout out Terry. And it has brought me so much fulfillment. It has brought me so much confidence to have a band of brothers that I can be vulnerable with, that I can rely on, that I can share, that I can be truthful.
That all of you guys are kind of either gone through the same thing or about to go through the
Exactly.
same
We're on
thing.
the same boat, you know? And today, I can't see my life without God or without being in this group or without having a group of men that I can rely on,
Same.
you know?
It's so important, bro. If you could send me an invite to some of those Bible groups, bro,
100%.
I'd love to be in
Tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Those. Yeah, hell yeah. I love Bible groups. I literally study the word every morning. I just finished reading Proverbs. That was an amazing read. I loved
Yes.
it. Read Psalms as well, Job. I'm reading, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the one with the Ecclesiastes.
What is it, what is it, Terry? Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes. I'm currently reading Ecclesiastes. It's been amazing though, bro. It's just waking up, putting him first, reading, learning all the wisdom. Proverbs was a huge eye opener for me because I read it and it was like it felt like it was reading me, and I'm reading it.
I know what you mean,
and I'm like,
do you know me, God?
And then I'm reading them and I'm like, this is where I messed up. 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 This is why I'm paying for this karma, for this. And it was just such a good read for me to read it, but it gave me so much perspective. I was just like, wow, bro. Thank God.
I just gotta tell you, bro, you're ahead of the game. You're at least 5 years ahead of the game.
Thank you, because sometimes, you know what it is? Sometimes I feel like I'm behind.
Nah, bro, you're ahead. I was not where you are at 30. I wasn't. I really wasn't.
That's good.
I was a degenerate piece of shit.
That's where I was 3 years ago. I was there 26, 27.
Yeah.
I was in a bad place. Not a bad place. It was just
right. I get it.
New to all of it.
Discovering life.
Discovering it. You know, and I lived with my parents till I was 25. So 26, 27 was actually my first 2 years out living what we call life. And you kind of get caught up in all of that stuff, and then you finally realize sheesh, this is not it,
No, it's not. No, but you are 100% ahead of the game.
Thank you, man. That means a lot coming from you because you're my OG, So.
I appreciate you, bro.
You're my OG, so it means a lot coming from you. I want to be, like you at 37, now at that peaceful stage, 2 kids, married, business going great, all of that stuff.
My man, I have zero doubt. It's a matter of when, not if.
Amen.
For you. It's a matter of when, bro.
We're working towards it every day, bro. I'm
Don't rush
committed
it,
to
though.
it.
Don't rush it.
No. Actually, it's funny. I spoke to this guy the other day. He's more of an OG, older guy. And I asked him, I'm like, yo, what's the best piece of advice you could give a young guy like me? And you know what he told me? He said, enjoy the process. He said, I got to this point. I have the money. I have the cars. I have all of it. And now I'm here trying to figure out what to do next. He's like, I wish I would have spent more time enjoying the process. I was such in a rush to get here.
Right.
And now I'm here and it's
I'm bored.
He literally told me, I'm bored now. He was like, I wish I would have, if I was you, if I could go back to you, enjoy the process.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Even if it takes you another 10 years, 15 years, enjoy it, bro, because that's what the real value is in the process of you growing.
And the creation.
And the failures. And he embrace all of it, because, one day he with your mindset, your attitude, you're going to have everything you want in life. And one day you're going to look back and you're going to more appreciate the journey than the destination. And that was something that really stuck with me, and it really hit home for me. And that's kind of the way I've been approaching life, just enjoying the journey. I'm not in any rush. Yes, we want to get there as soon as possible, but I'm not in a rush to get there, immediately. I want to enjoy the process and, fulfill it,
Someone told me, if you knew that if you got 20 no's, after that 20th no, you were going to get your first yes, how soon would you want to get your second no and your third no and your fourth no?
That's good perspective.
Right? So I love that because it just shows me that there is no failure. It's all lessons.
It's all lessons. You ever heard the story of Thomas Edison with the light bulb?
Of course.
They asked him, hey, it took 10,000 times to, create the light bulb. And he said, I just found 9,999 ways that didn't work. He didn't even look at it as failure. He kept trying. He kept trying. He kept going every single day until eventually it took till 10,000 tries. The 10,000th, he got it. 999 ways that didn't work. That's the way I look at life. Hey, it didn't work this way. Fine. Boom. All it takes is that one time and it changes everything.
Isn't that crazy? Because of that one decision, he will never be forgotten.
Never.
Never. Everyone will always know who Thomas Edison was.
Because you die twice in this lifetime. You die the day you physically die, and then you die the last time your name is mentioned. His name will be mentioned long after.
That's powerful.
Yeah. My mentor told me that. Yo, just make sure that your name is mentioned long after you're gone.
Yes.
So you can live forever.
That's incredible.
The impact you leave on others, man. That's what it's all about. That's why this podcast is so lit, man. You're going to create huge impacts on people all around the world, dog. You're already doing it. I can only wait till this blows up and Leo's in the top 25 podcasts on Apple, Spotify.
That's the goal, bro.
That's the goal, and I know, and it's gonna happen, bro. You have the resilience, the discipline, the value, the guests, everything. It's only, like you said, it's not if, it's when.
Thank you, bro.
And that's the beauty of it, bro.
What's next for you?
Next for me is, so I actually just signed up to get coached on becoming like a legit, keynote speaker.
That's incredible.
I want to get coaching on it because, when I actually sat down with this individual, he actually told me there's two sides to this, to becoming a keynote speaker. He said there's the business of it and then there's the art of it.
Right.
He said, you have no business. Like, I've been a public speaker, but it's been more word of mouth. Yo, Leo calls me, yo, Neno, I got a couple of people I want you to come speak to. Cool. And if you pay me, you throw me a Zelle, you throw me whatever.
Got you.
But I don't have a website yet. I don't have like an offer yet. There's certain things that need to be established for me as a speaker so I can become that real world renowned keynote speaker that I'm working to become. But then there's the art of it as well, having the right presentation, what's going to be my key topic that I speak about that people know me for.
Yes.
And all those great things. So I just hired a coach that is that. And he's going to start guiding me through these next couple of steps.
Give you the structure, the foundation.
The structure, the foundation of it, so I can really become that legit keynote speaker. Because, yes, I get gigs, but like I said, it's more word of mouth. A friend of mine, Jay, will call me, yo, Neno, I got a gig for you, come through.
Got you.
So on and so forth. But it's not structured yet. And, my guy, the guy that's coaching me, he's speaking to, American Express. His name is Juan Bendana. He's speaking to American Express. He's speaking to all the big times companies, Fidelity, you name it. He's talking to all the corporate companies all around the world, and he's getting paid $5, $10, up to $25,000 per speaking gig to speak for an hour, bro.
To speak
for an hour, 30 minutes an hour.
And they pay your flight, hotel, food.
All of it, bro.
That's
everything.
crazy.
G. It's just to go and do what you love, bro. Like, for example, imagine coming to sit here for an hour. Here's 10 stacks. And imagine doing 5, 10 of those a month.
It's incredible.
It's incredible the kind of money that's out there for people that have the gift that we have, but we need to understand the business and the art of it. So I had to pay for coaching because, like it pays to play.
Of course.
You got to pay for a coach to guide you.
The power of coaching is so powerful.
It's so important. So, I'm actually starting with him March 1st.
Congratulations.
And I'm excited for that. So that's one side of it. And then the next side of it is what you were telling me earlier. Creating, online courses, packages, having an offer content for people, being able to offer people different packages in terms of courses, one-on-one coaching, retreats, and so on and so forth. So that's like the next step. And then Mornings with Neno, my podcast, I want to get it in person now, kind of like what you got this set up here.
Yes. I
want to get this set up as well. So, I'm going to definitely invite you on mine.
100%.
And I'm going to interview you next, bro.
I appreciate you, bro.
So I'm looking forward to that.
And I can help you with all that content, website, content, marketing. I can help you with all that.
Yeah, for sure. We'll chop it up for sure because I need that. I'm working towards all of that right now.
So we're doing with Terry right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He came here for a 2-day intensive. And we took photos, 3 or 4 podcasts. We did videos. We walked around the street. We did lifestyle shots. We're doing his website. We're doing his logo, his marketing, his CRM, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's like kind of like what I want to do next. That I'm working towards that second quarter. That's like second quarter for me.
Yes.
I'm finishing up what I got to do now, getting everything aligned, and then second quarter I'm gonna dive into that.
That's gonna be so powerful for you.
Yeah, bro.
That keynote speaking coaching course is gonna be huge.
Huge. It's going to get next level, bro. 2026 is already looking bright, and we're not even halfway through 2025, but I know I got to establish this first. So I'm looking forward to it, bro. I tell people all the time, like, I'm glad that I started my 30s like this because my 30s are looking very fruitful, very abundant, very nice, and I know that these next 10 years, and I'm glad that you told me the thing about 40, which is crazy because it gave me a lot of perspective, but I'm excited for this.
Flies by, bro.
I know, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, I gotta get right. I want to be the guy at, people like, yo, Neno, at 30, you're getting, I'm like, bro, I'm getting young. Don't speak that to me, bro.
That juju.
Don't speak that over my life, bro. I'm young. I'm gonna be the guy that's 50, still running marathons and going on triathlons and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, don't tell me that stuff, but that's just me, I don't know if it's everybody like that, but I wanna make sure that I take advantage of these next 10 years of my life because, like I said, the last couple of years were very foundational years for me. Yeah. And now it's time for me to really break that lid and go get what I deserve. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Man, you're gonna fucking kill it.
Thank you, man.
You are so impactful, bro.
I appreciate that, bro. It means a lot, bro. I'm telling you, it means a lot coming from my OG.
Serious, bro. Like, I love your energy. I love your mindset. I love what you represent, Neno. I love what you represent. Like, bro, you give kids in the hood so much hope. You know what I mean? Like, for real.
It's funny you say that because growing up, I had one of my friends. He used to call me, in Spanish, it's called La Esperanza de Washington Heights, which is the hope of the Heights.
Yes.
You know, you're the hope for the hood. Like, you're the one that's going to give us hope to believe that, you know, we can make it out of here.
Yes.
You know, so it means a lot coming from you saying that, because that's always what I wanted to do, is be an inspiration for others and show others that you can make it out of it just like I did. You know,
I'm going to come see you at Apollo Theater.
One day, Apollo would be nice too. And there's another one I forgot the name of it, but there's another one in Washington Heights that's also very big as well. It's just like the Apollo of Washington Heights.
Right. Are you a Marvel guy? Avengers, Marvel?
Oh my God, huge Marvel guy.
You know what this is?
That's the Thor hammer.
Thor's hammer. Pick it up, please. Pick it up. Go for it. Yeah, pick it up. Grab it.
Is it one of those hammers that you try to pick it up?
No. You could actually lift it. Go ahead and lift it for me. Have a seat. Yeah, hold it. Yeah, it's about 5-7 pounds.
I'm over here expecting that I'm like.
So, as you know, in order to lift the hammer, you must be worthy, right?
Okay.
Thor is worthy, and so is Captain America. That's why he was able to lift the hammer.
Yeah.
All right? I think we're all worthy, but some of us just can't see it or just don't know. What does worthiness mean to you? What does value mean to you? And what would you say to someone that's lacking those two things?
That's a really good question. What does worthy mean to me? And
what does worthiness mean to you? Yes. What does it mean to be worthy?
For me, worthiness means believing in you, believing in your abilities, believing in the God-given talents that were given to you. You know, we were all created in God's image. So you have to believe that you are worthy for everything that you ask for. You got to believe that you're worthy for all the things that are out there in this world that so many people don't believe that they're worthy of.
Yeah.
You are worthy of those things. And when you start to believe in yourself and you start to trust the journey and embrace what comes with it, you know, you start to realize that you're such a valuable person, and the value that you bring to the world is just such a small tip of the iceberg compared to, you know, what everybody else is offering out there. So I always tell myself, that's one of my affirmations. I am worthy. I am valuable. You know, my goal in life is to leave everybody I touch and everybody I meet with an impression of increase. I want people to believe in themselves. I want people to be worthy of themselves. I want all of those things. But in order for you to do that for others, you got to do it for yourself. And that's the most important thing, is don't go chasing the butterflies, mend your own garden and the butterflies come, right? That's the key. Too many people chasing butterflies and think that all these other things are worthy and valuable, but in reality, you're the one that's worthy. You're the one that's valuable. Mend your garden, your mind, your spirit, your soul, all these things. And then all the butterflies that once were being chased, now they just come to the garden. And all those blessings and everything comes to you. So that was off the top, bro.
That was beautiful.
That was what I believe, you know, worthiness and value, you know, means to me.
When you said don't chase the butterflies, what came to mind was don't go chasing waterfalls. Listen to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Very similar analogy. That was great.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's one of my favorite quotes, actually.
It's incredible. Neno, incredible, bro.
Thank you, bro.
You're an incredible human being. You're an incredible person. You're an incredible leader. I cannot wait to see what you do. You're going to touch so many lives. You're going to help so many people. God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you, bro. And thank you for having me, bro. And I wish you nothing but abundance, success, and love.
Right back at you,
all
bro.
of 2025
Right
and
back at
for the
you.
rest of your life, man. For you, your family, your kids, for everybody, man.
Right back at you,
Can't
my
wait
brother.
to see what you do with this. And you're definitely getting invited to mine when I start doing it like this as well.
I appreciate you. I will be there 100%.
Thank you, bro.
Do me a favor. Look at that camera right there. Let everybody know where they can find you, your IG, your social media, whatever you got, your website, your course, whatever you want to share.
Yeah, mostly you guys can find me on Instagram at Long Live Neno, Neno. And you can also find me on Google. You could just Google my podcast at Mornings with Neno, Neno. I have it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all over all the main platforms. If you guys find me there, you guys will be able to be good. Instagram, Long Live Neno, and then Google @Mornings with Neno, and you pick and choose where you want to go with which link.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man. Guys, what can I say about Neno that hasn't already been said? The guy is a gem. He's someone who is the definition of discipline. Someone who can show you how to have the right mindset to get closer to God, to align with yourself and your family, and to be the man or the person or woman that you want to be. Connect with him, listen to his podcast, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and we'll see you guys next time.